Dominic, this is going to be a contest of contrasts. Bill de Blasio, I've known Bill for a while. We talk frequently, but I will tell you, he and I look at the world very, very differently, and our visions for the future are very, very different. My campaign of change is talking about how to incorporate the city together, how to unify the city, whether it's going to be on affordable housing or educating our children and making sure our streets are safe. We have two very, very different approaches, and New Yorkers will have a real choice in this election.
His tale of two cities, is that a unifying message?
No, I think it's just the opposite. I believe the tale of two cities is not, it engenders class warfare. Yes, we do have an inequity in the way and how much people, the value of how much people are worth. I understand that equilibrium is completely off, but you don't deal with it by separating classes. You don't deal by separating the two classes. What you do is you talk about what we will do to uplift those people who are in the lower part of our economic rung, to be able to help them get into the middle class. And you do that by having worked together. I know Bill used, I think in his very last commercial, some very, very interesting words. Those people on Park Avenue. That's code. And there's no place for code in the city. That is dividing the city. I'm going to be about uniting the city and not in any way, shape, or form talk about how we can, put the people of the city of New York into different classes. We're all New Yorkers. We're all one, and we have to band together. And for those people who are in need, we need to help them, and we need to do it in a positive fashion, not by separating and dividing classes.
I'd like to ask you about two polarizing figures. One, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and the other, the mayor that you worked for and ran the city for, Rudy Giuliani. Let's start with the Reverend Al Sharpton. My understanding, you two are getting together?
I will be meeting with the Reverend Sharpton and others in Bed-Stuy tomorrow night. There's a conference that's being put on by the National Action Network.
Wait a minute. Joe Lhota, you're going to meet with Al Sharpton tomorrow night?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. And I'm going to be the mayor of all New York. I've campaigned throughout the primary by saying I want to be the mayor of all New York. There's not a community I won't go into. There's not a community I won't discuss issues with. They need to know what I will do as mayor, what my vision is for the entire city and for their community in particular. There's no place in this city to divide. You need to unify this city. A unified city is how the city moves forward together. And I want to communicate with the people in all parts of the city, regardless of where they live, regardless of their race, ethnicity, religion. I want to talk to all people in New York. More importantly, I want to listen to them. Before I talk, I want to listen. As I always do when I go to meetings, no matter where I am, I let the other side talk first. I want to hear where they're coming from, what the issues are. Then I'll talk about where I'm coming from and what the issues are, and then find consensus. That's what I do. That's what I've always done, and I will continue to do that. You seem surprised.
I am a little surprised,
Why?
Mr. Lhota.
But when you were in City Hall, covering City Hall, I did the same things. Even the New York Times wrote about, who was the person who came in to compromise and fix problems. This huge war that was going on with Councilman DiBrienza over homeless shelters in parts of Brooklyn. There was a holy row going on over that. And I just picked up the phone and called Steve, and he described it as being very surprised. I asked him to come over and talk. And by the time we were done talking, we had the framework for a consensus decision. That's what I do.
The other polarizing figure plays very well in most communities, not so well in some, Rudy Giuliani. How are you going to use his full support of you this campaign?
I don't agree with the statement you made earlier about the Reverend Sharpton and now about Mayor Giuliani. I think calling them polarizing figures misses the fact of the value of the mayor and what he was able to do in reducing crime. If you think back to where New York City was 20 years ago and the condition that the city was in, the city, reached out to someone to be able to deal with the crime problems. He brought me on board because of my financial background. And then he realized once I was there my understanding of the intricacies of government and how it worked. And that's what allowed me to move from being budget director to deputy mayor for operations. The critical part of Mayor Giuliani is not the fact that he's polarizing, it's the fact that he was able to set this city on a course. It transformed the city. The lack of murders in this city, which started during his term and continued by Ray Kelly and Mayor Bloomberg, is extraordinary. And he should be applauded for it, not called polarizing.
Mayor Bloomberg, and I'm almost done here. He's going to remain neutral in this race. Did you want his endorsement?
I never asked him for the endorsement. I'm glad he's staying neutral and independent. I agree, he should use his time governing. There are a lot of things that he wants to do in his last almost 100 days left to the end of his term. And I fully understand he'll stay neutral from that, and that's good. You know, one of the things is that when you get endorsed by people, you then feel, that you don't feel emboldened to be able to talk about them positively or negatively. You only have to, that's the endorsement that's there. I'm totally A-okay with the mayor's decision.
Last question. Bill de Blasio's family. Much has been made of the fact that his family, his son's Afro, his wife, biracial family, helped push him ahead in the Democratic field. Do you feel that perhaps he crossed the line with the use of his family in the campaign?
No, absolutely not. I want to celebrate Bill de Blasio's family. I want to celebrate the fact that he is the future, the biracial marriage that he has. It's a wonderful marriage. His children are fantastic. I met Dante a week or so ago over at the Staten Island Ferry, and we high-fived each other. He's a great kid. Bill's a great guy. I've not met his wife and daughter, but I'm looking forward to it. No, I don't believe for one second that he's stepped over the line. He's doing exactly what a candidate should do, presenting who he is and what a wonderful family he has.